right, Texans and Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
Houston
baby.
have lost. They've lost to Kansas City. They've lost to Baltimore, the two teams we just talked about. And now they've lost to Pittsburgh. They were winning at halftime.
Yep.
They didn't score a point in the second half. What happened to Watson and the Texans offense?
Well, the offense was never like anything smooth throughout the day. It was more of Watson making plays, buying a little time. I do think Pittsburgh busted a coverage. No, they didn't. I'm switched around there. That was Houston that busted a coverage. So I don't think I came away looking at anything ever at any point just going, oh, this Houston Texan offense is a machine, right? They had some good plays and put some plays together. But I think the thing that jumped out to me more than anything is still way too much on Deshaun Watson. And the offense is just not diverse enough, and they're not protecting well enough either. I think that's the first thing that bothers me.
Let's start with the diversity. I want to get to the protection because people obviously point to that with how often he's sacked. But when you say diversity, are you talking about the formations and the motions or the actual schemes once the ball is snapped?
A little bit of both, really. I think it's all got to grow. If you're going to have wide receiver by committee, you got to have an offense that's just it's vast and has lots of things we do and a ton of concepts because we don't care where the ball goes. So we're going to, that's what New England's always done. That's really what they've done. We got a really good system. We don't need one superstar, even though they found some. Don't get me wrong. I know that. But that's not the way they are. They go, our system's really good. We're going to teach our quarterback. And because our system has so much in it, everybody will get the ball eventually. Billy O'Brien runs a simpler version of the New England offense. It's just not enough. I don't see enough concepts. I don't see enough formation.
Do you think he's not using enough because the personnel around Deshaun isn't that good?
No, I don't. I have a hard time buying that. I think maybe he's still adjusting to life without DeAndre Hopkins, where the last few years he's been a guy that's been like, how can I get him the ball? How can I get him the ball? How can I get him the ball? And because I get him the ball so much, it forces the other team to just do something to him. And now other guys get the ball, where now he's got to figure out, okay, what are just creative pass schemes to take care of this coverage that are kind of all-purpose that my quarterback can just read the play and not worry about having to attack one guy or do anything like that. So that, I guess, bothers me about their offense just a little bit.
You know what's troubling? It's not just the second half and what we're talking about. They got shut out. But in this time, through 3 games, where points, yards, and passing efficiency are at an all-time high for 3 games.
Right.
They have 20 points in a game, 16 and 21.
Right.
I mean, they're down there with, like, the Jets, Giants, and Broncos of the world right now.
Yeah.
And they have Deshaun Watson.
There's no excuse for it. There's not. And Watson is not, like, playing his best football right now. He's not.
What's he lacking right now?
Well, I'll say the one thing that jumped out to me a little bit is, one, I think he's lost a step speed-wise. He looks like he's gotten bigger to me, all right? And he still moves around and does special things with his legs. But I'll say there's a few times where he's gotten on the edge, and I want to go, ooh, old Deshaun, I feel like, would have maybe turned the corner there and gotten 8 or 9 yards on a scramble. Right now, I'm not so sure he can do that. All right? But, you know, it's not I'm not concerned about Watson himself.
Okay, so then offensive line, pass catchers, scheme, which of those 3 things are you concerned about most?
I think is lack of run game first, all right? I know that wasn't one of the options, but I'll go there.
You can add, you can add a 4th.
And then, you know, O-line would be second, with scheme being 3rd probably to me about there. But, yeah, the O-line, they got steamrolled in that football game. Steamrolled. Now, let me just say, Pittsburgh's defense is off the chain. They are off the chain good. It's the best front 7 in football. That's the one thing I'm pretty confident in saying after watching 3 weeks of just about everybody on defense.
And they've also played Baltimore and Kansas City, so they haven't had any kind of a layup yet.
No, they have not. And they're a team that is not good on defense, so that doesn't help them. I mean, the Steelers chewed up the clock in the second half. But the second half, you know, that's all you need to really look at. I mean,
and Deshaun was 5 of 9 for 62 yards and a pick in the second half. I felt like they hardly had the ball.
That's what I was just saying. Like they couldn't. Their defense couldn't get off the field. So that was the issue. They only had 17 plays in the second half. Wow. They only had 51 yards in the second half, and 34 of them were on one play.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there was another play that was, I believe, 14 or 15 yards. So they really had 15 plays for like 2 yards. If you take those 2 away. That's what kind of domination was, because one, there's not enough diversity in the offense. So when the second half comes around, Pittsburgh was very comfortable. Oh, this is what they're doing to us today, and this is what they're going to continue to try to do. And they let their front four just go after it a little bit too. Pittsburgh can be one of those teams every now and then. We're going to talk about this in a minute with another team that will blitz the fifth guy just a little too much for me. I know their defense is awesome, and I understand why they do it, but it also lends to easy completions sometimes where you go, that guy didn't get close to the quarterback, and now there's nobody in the middle of the field, and the quarterback got to throw a 4-yard throw that got 30 yards because why? We just had to send 5?
Right.
You know, and so that would be one thing. But, yeah, the second half, the biggest – I didn't see, like, they just stopped blitzing. They rushed 4, and really they just played more traditional coverages. I think that's the big thing. And then, of course, the big mistake with Watson. That's the last thing you got. I mean, that's just – but that compounds, you know.
You're talking about the interception?
The interception, that was the end of the game because at that point, they're, I believe, it's 21-20. The game's still in the balance. Pittsburgh's offense has had a hard time finding its mojo. But, you know, they're going through a stale point like you're talking about. And he was the offense in the first half. So he's going, I got to do it again here.
And it was one of the classic rolling to your right and throwing a little bit late.
Yeah.
Not all the way to the middle.
Right.
But kind of back to the middle.
Yeah.
They converted a third down, which was rare for them in the second half. They converted a third down a couple plays before.
And he did the same thing,
Did the same thing.
Right.
So it's hard to come down to
Exactly right. I know. It's very hard. It's a tough line to go, wait, this guy makes all these plays all the time and really saves our football team. Okay, well, every now and then you're going to have to deal with one that doesn't go that, you know, the right way. This one was, I think to what you said, a hair more aggressive than that first one. And a hair farther down the field and across more, right?
It was 10 to 15 yards further
down so that one is just a little one where you go, okay, Deshaun, we're okay for letting you do it, but that one might have been like, only 15 and red and white can do that. Everybody else is not allowed.
And he's getting sacked a lot, too. 5 times on Sunday and 13 times for the year.
Yeah.
Such a fine line with him. Like the pick we're talking about. Like, you don't want to tell him to not do that because he makes it happen a lot.
Yeah.
But he's getting sacked more than other quarterbacks, too, because of how much he's moving around.
And then there's no run game to worry about.
Right.
And there's not enough diversity in the offense to even throw the ball short and quick, wide receiver screens. There's none of that. That's how you stop the great defenses like the Steelers who just are foaming at the mouth to get at the quarterback, let alone, like, holy shit, is their front four good.
Yeah.
I was drooling over their front four yesterday. I wrote it down. I wrote, Steelers, best D in the NFL. They're the best D I've seen so far. I mean, my money's on them to win that title when it's all said and done. But, yeah, just doing too much. Texans, though, doesn't do enough to help him out. And, that's it.
All right, so they fall to 0-3. 0-3 for the Texans. Steelers doing great.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.